Guys, I have so many guppies. I started out with like 5, 2 males and 3 females, and I have like at least 50 in my tank now. Like, I'm pretty sure my guppies are living by the 10x rule. They're just 10xing their reproduction. If you have guppies, you're probably experiencing the same thing where you put a few guppies in, they're pretty, and then boom, you have like 50 to 100 babies swimming all around your tank, and you're like, what do I do with all of this guppy fry? That's what I'm going to be addressing in this video. I bought these guppies with a specific purpose in mind. I went to my local fish store and said, what type of guppies do you guys always have more of a demand for than you have supply for? And one of the types, there was multiple, but one of them was purple haze guppies. And I love the color purple, and I think these fish are just beautiful. They're very mesmerizing to watch, and so I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to have a tank of purple haze guppies. So what I'm going to do is grow these fry out, and then I'm going to bring them to my local fish store and either sell them to them or just do in-store credit. They do both, which will be perfect because I spend a lot of money there anyway, so I might as well just do in-store credit. So I'm going to grow this guppy fry out for about 2 to 4 months, and then I will bring it to my local fish store. Now, I'm not going to bring all of it, all of the fry all at once, because then I would just be able to sell him like some once, and then it would be another month or 2 before I could sell some more. And I want to be able to just have a slow, steady supply for the local fish store. So I won't just be selling it all at once. Right now, I am growing the fry out with frozen baby brine shrimp. I'm not growing it myself right now because this is the only tank I have with fry in it, and so it seems like a lot of time and work to put into growing my own baby brine shrimp for just one tank. Plus I would have a lot of excess, which obviously I could freeze, or I could just buy some at my local fish store for 10 bucks a package. I feed the tank 3 times a week, and the fry are doing great, and they don't seem to be, their growth doesn't seem to be stunted or anything. They're growing well. But the tank is set up as an ecosystem tank, so there's also some microorganisms in the tank that they can also feed on. Now, I'm guessing the supply of microorganisms is waning a lot, and as the fry grows, I will start feeding them more food, but for now, 3 times a week works great. If you have a lot of guppy fry, and you're not sure what to do with them, and your local fish store doesn't want them because maybe they're just mixed or just commons that they get in easily, they don't have much of a demand for it, or whatever the reason is, you can always join some local Facebook groups and do trades or just sell them outright to whoever would want to buy them. I also do that as well. I don't just sell all my stuff to my local fish store. Some of it I can sell to them, and some of it I'm going to sell on Facebook because they already have someone else local supplying them with that product. If you would love to breed guppies for profit, or even endlers, or really any live bearer for that matter, I would go to your local fish store first and say, hey, what type of live bearer is high in demand that you have a hard time getting a supplier for? And then pick, they might have several, and just pick your favorite live bearer out of the lineup of fish that they would love to be supplied with, and then start breeding. Now, I would suggest picking like a fancy endler or a fancy guppy or a live bearer that is not as common. If you just get a bunch of common guppies and put them in a tank, you're just going to have a lot of common babies that there's not much of a demand for. Maybe there's a demand for them in your area though. If there is, and that's what you want to breed, by all means go for it. But if you're wanting to profit off of them, I would suggest doing the fancy endlers or the fancy guppies because they typically sell for twice the price. And as you guys can see in this video, I do not separate the guppy fry from the adult guppies, and the adults do well with them. I think that's because I have a lot of plant cover. There's a lot of duckweed and like just root floaters for the babies to hide in. And the adults really don't chase them around that much. I suppose if you feed them enough, they're not going to want to eat their young. Plus, I think it's only like a few days before the fry are grown enough that the parents can't actually fit them in their mouth. I'm not for sure on that, but it doesn't take long for them to be large enough to not be able to eat them anymore. Now, I have had these guppies for a few months now, and just now they're starting to really boom in population, and that is because I had a female betta fish in this tank, and I did not realize how many babies she was eating because there were still babies in there. So I was like, oh, she's doing good with them. And then all of a sudden there was no babies, so I pulled her out to see like if she was the one eating all of them, and sure enough, a few weeks later I had like 30 to 50 guppy fry. So if you are wanting to breed live bearers for profit, do not keep a larger fish in the tank that can prey upon the fry, because you probably won't get much fry to be selling. Now, on the flip side of that, if you want to have guppies in your tank but you don't want to have a bunch of fry to raise, then maybe just put a betta fish in there with them, and then you probably won't have to feed the tank very often because they're just going to be feeding on the fry. Alrighty guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing if this video was helpful to you. And if you have any other questions regarding how I raise guppies, please drop them down in the comments, and I can either answer them directly or I can make a video addressing the question.